weeks ago, man. I started taking all my mom's stuff out of the house, the angels, all of it. Like, only when she let me do it. And I just didn't go up in there snatching stuff out.
Right.
So I just, kept putting in her ear, suggesting, you need to get these graven images out of the house. I mean, I know they're black angels and stuff, but
what does that mean?
they need to go. She was like, she just kept listening. I kept telling her bit by bit, but finally got to be able to take all that stuff out of there. Like, the whole atmosphere of that apartment has changed.
Right.
Like,
and
really
now,
changed.
with that atmosphere changing, she is changing, but then that old her, it's not trying to fully come up out of her.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's really when she's got to just keep staying focused, being positive, praying to the Most High, getting in the Word, seeking the Most High for herself, scrutinizing, investigating, requiring, demanding. I might even go, okay. Keep going.
And Abram went from them, and his anger burned within him. And Abram hastened and went from the chamber to his father's outer court. And he found his father sitting in the court, and all his servants with him. And Abram came and sat before him. And Abram asked his father, saying, Father, tell me, where is God who created heaven and earth, and all the sons of men upon earth, and who created thee and me? And Terah answered his son Abram and said, Behold, those who created us are all with us in this house.
So they know it's not the Creator. None of those things. So they're not ignorant of these things. So why did they create something? Okay, keep going.
And Abram said to his father, My Lord, shew them to me, I pray thee. And Terah brought Abram into the chamber of the inner court. And Abram saw, and behold, the whole room was full of gods of wood and stone, 12 great images, and others less than they without number. And Terah said to his son, Behold, these are they which made all thou seest upon earth, and which created me and thee and all mankind.
So, Cherry, he was really about that pagan life.
Well, he was on it, wasn't he?
Right.
About it.
Listening to that Yeezy, can't
Boy.
tell him nothing.
About it.
Can't tell him nothing. June, keep going. June
And
22.
Terah bowed down to his gods, and he then went away from them. And Abram, his son, went away with him. And when Abram had gone from them and went to his mother and sat before her, he said to his mother, Behold, my father has shown me those who made heaven and earth, and all the sons of men. Now, therefore, hasten and fetch a kid from the flock, and make of it savory meat, that I may bring it to my father's gods as an offering for them to eat. Perhaps I may thereby become acceptable to them.
But, I mean, so what's he doing?
Testing her.
But so yeah, that's covenant talk to. Whenever you're trying to sup with somebody, that means you're trying to come in covenant or something like that. So let's see what happens. Keep going.
He's testing her.
And his mother did so. And she fetched the kid and made savory meat thereof, and brought it to Abram. And Abram took the savory meat from his mother and brought it before his father's gods. And he drew nigh to them that they might eat. And Terah, his father, did not know of it. And Abram saw on the day when he was sitting amongst them that they had no voice, no hearing, no motion, and not one of them could stretch forth his hand to eat.
So you mean like in the rosary beads, in the crosses, the necklaces, everything that everyone has, even the pictures of Jesus or whatever, the statues, whatever. There's no power in none of those things.
All of it to protect you, man. That cross is just
You're
protect you.
idolizing something that's not gonna do nothing for you. You're putting your faith in the wrong thing, an object that's not.
Stop a bullet. Stop anything that's coming at you. A disease. Just put the cross on.
So, and we're also watching the evolution of Abram to become Abraham. Because what's happening? He's saying, wait, everything that everyone else worships has no power. It can't even eat this food. It can't breathe. It can't blink. It can't fart. I mean, what can it really do?
It can sit still.
It can sit the mannequin challenge
I'm telling you. it will win every time.
every time,
Every time.
undefeated,
Yeah,
undefeated.
for real.
But we see what he's doing. He is still investigating. He's diligently seeking out the Most High.
What they say in 300, put your gods to the test.
Got to. Just put up a shut up time.
Yeah.
Abram, he wasn't. We about to see how much about this life he really was. Keep going.
And Abram took the savory meat from his mother and brought it before his father's gods into the chamber. And he came to that's 29. No, 30. And Abram viewed them, and behold, they had neither voice nor
Wait,
hearing.
no,
you go
no,
too far?
no. Yeah, where you at?
You're on 28, bro.
I'm on 28.
Yeah.
Oh, skipped the whole verse.
You skipped 20. When did you read 27? Oh, you just read 27?
No, yeah, 27.
Yeah, you're on 27.
27.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I skipped the whole 3 verses.
Yeah.
And saw the
Glasses
sitting
for
amongst
what?
them. They had no
Yeah.
to stretch his hand and reach out to you. All right. And Abram mocked them and said, surely the savory meat that I prepared has not pleased them. Or perhaps it was too little for them. And for that reason they would not eat. Therefore tomorrow I will prepare fresh savory meat, better and more plentiful than this, in order that I may see the result.
So.
Just waste some food.
For real. I know that meat was probably.
What kind of meat was it? I wonder.
Man,
How
look at
good
you,
was it?
boy.
Hungry too. You over wasting food.
Yeah, for real. We going through a pandemic. You want to waste that food. All right, read the 30.
Read to 30, okay. And it was on the next day that Abram directed his mother concerning the savory meat.
Hey, my dukes.
And his mother rose and fetched 3 fine kids from the flock. And she made of them some excellent savory meat, such as her son was fond of. And she gave it to her son, Abram, and Terah, his father, did not know of it. And Abram took the savory meat from his mother and brought it before his father's gods into the chamber. And he came nigh unto them that they might eat. And he placed it before them. And Abram sat before them all day, thinking perhaps they might eat.
They gotta be hungry.
And Abram viewed them, and behold, they had neither voice nor hearing, nor hearing, nor did one of them stretch forth his hand to the meat to eat.
Okay, Jessica, can you read?
What we on?
We are
31.
31.
Okay. And in the evening of that day in that house, Abram was clothed with the Spirit of Yahuwah.
Okay.
And he called out and said, woe unto my father and this wicked generation, whose hearts are all inclined to vanity, who serve these idols of wood and stone, which can neither eat, smell, hear, nor speak, who have mouths without speech, eyes without sight, ears without hearing, hands without feeling, and legs which cannot move. Like them are those that made them, and that trust in them. And when Abram saw all these things, his anger was kindled against his father. And he hastened and took a hatchet in his hand, and came into the chamber of the gods, and he broke all his father's gods. And when he had done breaking the images, he placed the hatchet in his hand of the great God, which was there before them. And he went out, and Terah his father came home, for he had heard at the door the sound of striking of the hatchet. So Terah came into the house to know what this was about. And Terah, having heard the noise of the hatchet in the room of images, ran to the room to the images, and he met Abram going out. And Terah entered the room and found all the idols fallen down and broken, and the hatchet in his hand of the largest, which was not broken, and the savory meat which Abram his son had made was still before them. And when Terah saw this, his anger was greatly kindled, and he hastened and went from the room to Abram. And he found Abram his son still sitting in the house, and he said to him, what is this work thou hast done to my gods? And Abram answered Terah his father, and he said, Not so, my lord, for I brought savory meat before them, and when I came nigh to them with the meat that they might eat, they all at once stretched forth their hands to eat before the great one had put forth his hand to eat. Really?
Yeah.
And the large one saw their works that they did before him, and his anger was violently kindled against them.
It's on my cake.
And he went and took the hatchet that was in the house, and came to them, and broke them all. And behold, the hatchet is yet in his hand, as thou see.
So he's still there. No, man, like,
Being
you know,
sarcastic.
like these 11 small, guys. They had the nerve to try to eat before the big Aki, So he had to come in and go bomb, boom, bomb. So he had to do what he had to do.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Terah's
Sarcastic
anger,
boy.
right? And Terah's anger was kindled against his son Abram when he spoke this. And Terah said to Abram his son in his anger, What is this tale that thou hast told? Thou speakest lies to me. Is there in these God spirits soul or power to do all thou hast told me?
So Terah knows that there's not a spirit, a soul, or any power in none of these things. So why are you
But he
worshiping
don't want to
the
know
creation?
that. Yeah.
Okay.
He don't want to know to believe whatever he say.
Right.
Mhm.
Are they not wood and stone, and have not myself made them? And canst thou speak such lies, saying that the large God that was with them smote them?
Smoke them. Mhm.
It is thou that didst place the hatchet in his hand, and they saith he smote them all. And Abram answered his father and said to him, And how castest thou then serve these idols in whom there is no power to do anything? Can those idols in which thou trustest deliver thee? Can they hear thy prayer when thou callest upon thee?
So can a jab deliver you when it hasn't even been tested? the one from Moderna, they literally said it's an 18-month. It won't be done until when, June? The trial?
October 16th, 2022.
2022. So that means that everybody that's taking it is the part of the trial. Can you pray to it? Can it deliver you out?
But surely can kill you.
Real quick, it can give you Bell's palsy. All right, keep going. My bad.
Can I deliver thee from the hands of thy enemies, or will thou fight thy battles for thee against thy enemies? That thou shouldest serve wood and stone, which can neither speak nor hear? And now surely it is not good for thee nor for the sons of men that are connected with these to do these things. Are you so silly, so foolish, or short of understanding that you will serve wood and stone and do after this manner? Whoa.
Well, he ain't playing. He's talking to his parent too, his dad. So okay, keep going.
And forget Yahuwah who made heaven and earth, and who created you in the earth, and thereby bring a great evil upon your soul in this matter by serving stone and wood. Did not our fathers in the days of old sin in this matter? And the Lord God of the universe brought the waters of the flood upon them and destroyed the whole earth.
So I know a lot of people are into this universalism, giving it all to the universe. But you see, says that what? There's an Elohim that created the universe.
Exactly.
So it's not supposed to go to the universe. You got to give the Most High the praise that He's due.
Always.
Exactly.
You got to give it to Him, because they know how to manipulate the laws that the Most High He's set up, and they want to give praise here when it's supposed to go to the Creator.
It already says He created all things.
Yeah, all
He did not
things.
create the universe.
All things.
Yeah, that's what they be.
That's what they be talking about? Okay, go ahead.
Now therefore my father refrain from this, and bring not evil upon thy soul and the souls of thy household. And Abram hastened sprang from before his father, and took the hatchet from his father's largest idol, with which Abram broke it and ran away.
So then he finally broke the last one, like, yeah, I'm getting rid of all of these. Okay.
And Terah, seeing all that Abraham has done, hastened to go from his house, and he went to the king and he came before Nimrod and stood before him, and he bowed down to the king. The king said, What dost thou want?
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Bam, can you start reading from 51?
And he said, I beseech thee, my Lord, to hear me. Now 50 years back, 50 years back a child was born to me, and thus had he done to my gods, and thus has he spoken. And now, therefore, my Lord and King, send for him that he may come before thee and judge him accordingly to the law, that we may be delivered from his evil.
So the king and Charon them have a different law. So we're kind of gonna, okay, so what type of people does the Most High choose? Does he choose the people that have the easiest life, don't ever go through nothing, you know, just hunky-dory, whatever?
He don't choose qualified.
No, they don't sound like hard workers.
But he don't call the qualified, he qualifies the call.
Yeah, that's what they say. So,
But the stiff-necked people.
boy, we got the stiffest. So, I'm just going to read it. So, Isaiah 48, 10 through 12, stay in Joshua.
Okay.
Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. He chose us in the furnace of affliction. You're about to know about the furnace of affliction that Abraham went through. For mine own sake, even for mine own sake will I do it. For how should my name be polluted, and I will not give my glory unto another? Give the Most High his glory. Hearken unto me, O Jacob and Israel, my called. I am he, I am the first, I also am the last. So the Most High, he chooses the people that have to go through something. We about to find out what he went through. They still making movies about Abraham right now. We don't even know it. Like this new Hobbit movie,
You seen
The Five Kings.
You seen the trailer?
Who do y'all think that's about? That's about Abraham.
You seen the trailer?
It's about Genesis and Abraham.
Seen the trailer for Risen?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
It pops up on YouTube. There's an ad. But remind me to pull it up after we done. I'm sure it's in
Man, okay. So keep going to Joshua. Start at 52. We can go back now. My bad.
And the king sent 3 men of his, And the king sent 3 men of his servants, and they went and brought Abram before the king. And Nimrod and all his princes and servants were that day sitting before him. And Terah sat also before him. Who was Terah?
Terah,
Terah,
Abraham's father.
Okay, I figured that. Just make sure. I think I read that somewhere. And the king said to Abram, What is this thou that I hate these words. What is this that thou hast done to thy father and to his gods? And Abram answered to the king in the words that he spoke to his father. And he said, The large God that was with them in the house did to them that thou hast heard.
So now he's telling the king that the Lord God killed them all, right? Okay.
They gods, right?
Right. I mean, it's supposed to be possible, right? Why y'all looking at me crazy? Y'all worship them. Y'all feed them every day, right? They can't fight. All right, keep going.
And the king said to Abram, Had they power to speak and eat and do that as thou hast said? And Abram answered to the king, saying, And if there be no power in them, why dost thou serve them, and cause the sons of men to err through thy follies? Keep going.
Right, because they knew it, and they still want to set it up. All these statues, and all this, and all that, all these amulets.
He was like, the large God did it. He did it.
He did it. But y'all mad at me like he can't do it because so king, so you know he ain't got no power.
Yeah, the king just talking about, you know, man, come on now, they fucking got no power.
Oh, so that's why the word Nimrod means stupid. They
For
literally
real?
mean stupid.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Like if somebody calls you a Nimrod, they are talking smack to you. Nimrod literally means stupid.
Yeah, don't use that term where I come from.
The white folks use that word.
I'm joking. My bad. Keep going.
Wow. I have to do like the large God did, take you out.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Everybody was like, what is he doing? I thought he had, never mind. Keep going.
Dost thou imagine that they can deliver thee or do anything small or great, and thou should serve them? And why wilt thou not sense the God of the whole universe, who created thee, and in whose power is in to kill and keep alive.
So, again, we know that there's a creator of the universe. People have faith in the creator. Stop worshiping the creation. I'm telling you, there's a big movement in this. Oh, the universe, the universe, the universe. Yes, they know how to manipulate that stuff, but you still got to give it to the creator. He created this matrix in which we all live in. Keep going, my bad.
O foolish, simple, and ignorant king.
Nimrod.
He talking like that to the king?
Bruh, to the king.
Man, what? Woe unto thee forever.
Woe means peril or death. So.
I thought thou wouldest teach thy servants the upright way, but thou hast not done this, but hast filled the whole earth with thy sin and the sins, with thy sins and the sins of thy people who have followed thy ways. That's what people don't understand. Like, you know, following the wrong, are you like,
Lead you down that path.
all right.
So is that the end of that?
No, it got 61. I got like 3 more verses.
Okay, go ahead. You can finish that.
Dost thou not know, and hast thou not heard, that this evil which thou doest, our ancestors sinned therein in the days of old, and the eternal Elohim brought the waters of the flood upon them, and destroyed them all, and also destroyed the whole earth on their account. And wilt thou and thy people rise up now and do like unto this work, in order to bring down the anger of Yahweh Elohim of the universe, and to bring evil upon thee and the whole earth. Now therefore, put away the evil deed which thou doest, and serve Elohim of the universe, as thy soul is in his hands, and then it will be well with thee.
So, is there more?
You got 2 more.
Go ahead.
And if thy wicked heart will not hearken unto my words to cause thee to forsake thy evil ways, and to serve the eternal Elohim, then wilt thou die in shame in the latter days, thou, thy people, and all who are connected with thee, hearing thy words, are walking in thy evil ways. And when Abram had ceased speaking before the king and princes, Abram lifted up his eyes to the heavens and said, Yahweh seeketh all the wickedness, and he will judge them. Like, look, basically, everything you are associated with gonna be cursed by this.
He sees all
And
the wicked.
so that definition of diligently seeking him was what again? To seek him, to search out, to investigate. What was that 4th definition of it? Because now he's using
Scrutinize.
Well, scrutinize one, but there was a 4th one. Because
Scrutinize.
now he's requiring it of the king. Because he's telling him to stop. He's telling his dad, his father. He's telling the king to stop doing that. And now he's talking about how all the other people that he's leading astray through his folly in this whole kingdom. So now he's requiring that of them and of himself. 'Cause that's why he went to all these other gods to see if they were real. So now he is requiring that. And so when I was looking at the definition, I'm like, man, he did every last one. How? I mean, the definition was because of his life. Like, this dude. Wait till we get into the next one. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. What else is faith? What else is faith?
What else?
Man,
I know it was
what Abram just did.
Boy, because he talking to the king like the king can't just have him killed.
What else is what?
I got it onto my tongue, but I don't know how to say it.
Say it.
Stand up for what you actually believe in?
I was just finna say it was something
You weren't
like,
going to say that.
it was like trying to like having confidence. That's what I was trying to think.
Confidence.
Yeah.
Having the confidence that
There
is
you go.
that is gonna happen.
Or confidence in what you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
Like stand up for what you believe in.
But what else? Because
The knowing.
he's talking, like he talking to that king like that king's a nobody. Like,
So what else?
Faith is having fear of the Most High as well, because he didn't fear what would happen to him talking to their king like that, because he was on the steps of death talking to their king like that. For real.
Huh?
I said he was on the steps of death talking to their king like that, so
I ain't care nothing about
he put
that.
all
Yeah.
his fear in the
I
Most
don't
High.
care nothing about
and then
that.
he used his pay action like, Most High, hey, you see all this wickedness, handle that. That's basically what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
So what else is faith? Okay. Let's go to Ephesians 6. Y'all know it's a shield
Faith is a shield.
That's good.
because he he talking to him like he can just whoop everybody there. Like, I'll slay every last one of you. Look at me again. So I wish you would make another guy. I wish you would just make one more. He ain't do that.
6.
Oh yeah, my bad. We're gonna start at 11, and we're gonna read through verse 16. What up, Aki? Who's reading?
You said Ephesians
Ephesians
6,
6.
start at 11.
Because yeah, go ahead.
Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth,
The Torah.
and having on the breastplate of righteousness,
Okay.
and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace.
Okay.
Above all, taking the shield of faith,
It's your protection.
wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked.
Because we know that he only chooses those to go through the furnace of affliction. And this talks about how it will quench all the fiery darts of the enemy. It's our protection. It's not in a jab. It's not in FEMA. It's not in a president. It's not in a Black Lives Matter movement. It's not in none of that. It's got to be in the creator of the universe, not the universe. But it's our protection. And I don't think a lot of times we really think about that because, again, look how Abram talking to a king. Now, at this point in time, Nimrod was basically the king of the whole earth.
Yeah.
Like, he'd be like, oh, man, I could get your head chopped off. Like, I mean, come on, think about it. Like, not even that. Like, if he has brothers, sisters, wives, anything, he can get everybody chopped off.
The whole family.
Nobody would ever, we wouldn't be able to read about him right now. But did he care? Like, who did he fear more?
No man up there.
It's a shield. It's your protection. And we all got to go through stuff. We all have got to go through stuff. If you think that there's somebody in here that's not going through something, if you think any moray, any teacher, any evangelist, any apostle, any bishop ain't got something they got to repent for, you're crazy. You're crazy. Everybody has something that we have to turn back from. Everybody. That's why we're not supposed to have respecter of persons. Because we don't know what they're going through, but we still have to judge righteously in that. But still, you don't know. But anybody says that they don't have to sin, repent.
When you say respecter of persons, you mean?
Like in judgment, I'm talking in judgment, favoritism. Like okay, like Jeremiah's my brother, you know, and you're my eye. So I'm gonna favor Jeremiah, even though he's wrong in this situation, even though you were right.
Gotcha.
Like, no, I'm not about to do that. Because now I'm going to get judged for that. So that's that's the understanding on that. You good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we're going to go to Joshua 12, and we're going to find out about the furnace of affliction. Joshua 12. Yeah. And we're going to read verses 1 through verse 43. And then that's going to wrap it, because I thought it was going to be, I'm glad, I thought it was going to be a lot longer. 1 through 43. We're going to read
Chapter 1 through 43.
Joshua 12, verse 1 through 43. Verse 1 through 43. I'm going to try to pull it up. Okay, I'm not going to deal with you right now. Book of Joshua, which one? No, not Enoch.
Go ahead. Verse 1 through 43.
Yeah, Brandon, if you got to go ahead.
And when the king heard the words of Abram, he ordered him to put into prison. He ordered them to be put into prison. And Abram was 10 days in prison. And at the end of those days, the king ordered that all the kings, princes, and governors of different provinces and the sages should come before him. And they sat before him. And Abram was still in the house of confinement. And the king said to the princess and sages, Have you heard what Abram, the son of Terah, has done to his father? Thus has he done to him. And I ordered him to be brought before me, and thus has he spoken. His heart did not misgive him, neither did he stir in my presence. And behold, now he is confined in the prison. And therefore decide that judgment is due to this man who reviled the king, who spoke and did all the things that you heard. And they all answered the king, saying, the man who revileth the king should be hanged upon a tree. But,
Ooh, curses every man that hangeth on a tree. They were trying to curse him. Keep going.
but having done all the things that he said, and having despised our gods, he must therefore be burned to death. For this is the law in this matter.
Now, you're supposed to suffer not of what you live. So, you remember they used to burn witches at the stake?
Yeah.
That's basically what they're trying to put on him.
Okay.
Okay, that's basically what they're trying to put on him now. Keep going.
If it pleaseth the king to do this, let him order his servants to kindle a fire both night and day in thy brick furnace, and then we will cast this man into it. And the king did so, and he commanded his servants that they should prepare a fire for 3 days and 3 nights in the king's furnace, that is in Kasdim. And the king ordered them to take Abram from prison and bring him out to be burned.
So it's not enough that they're gonna burn him in a fire. They heat like, man, we gotta turn the heat up for 3 days and 3 nights.
That's a lot of heat.
in a brick oven.
Because that's, brick sweats. We know that from
Yeah.
military, but it's 1 point period. But that's how 3 days.
That's all.
Twice?
Thrice.
Y'all
Keep
silly.
going.
Y'all silly, man.
I'm no,
I
for
ain't got time
real.
for y'all.
3 days. 3 days
And all the king's servants, princes, lords, governors, and judges, and all the inhabitants of the land, about 900,000 men. God,
That's a lot, ain't it?
stood opposite the furnace to see Abram. That's a lot. They ain't got no front row. And all the women and the little ones crowded upon the roofs and towers to see what was doing with Abram. And they all stood together at a distance. And there was not a man left that did not come on that day to behold the scene. And when Abram was come, the conjurers of the king and the sages saw Abram, and they cried out to the king, saying, our sovereign lord, surely this is the man whom we know to have been the child at whose birth the great star swallowed the 4 stars, which
Okay.
we declared to the... Wow, that's a lot.
Okay.
I need somebody.
Because the
to
great
do that.
star swallowed the 4 stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
That new Hobbit movie, when they're talking about the 5 kings, that whole prophecy was about Abraham and what he ended up doing, ended up beating 5 kings. Everything that these movies, like the 2 Towers, all this stuff, it's about us. It's about our people. Or the Book of Enoch.
I ain't never even watched the movies. I thought they was corny. Now I gotta go back and watch them now.
Look, man.
Like I said, when you mentioned
Like this whole
these
Hobbit
books, that
series,
reminded me of 300.
if you start watching that first, the first installment of this new Hobbit series, 'cause I haven't even watched the whole thing, but everything they're talking about, I'm like, man, that sounds like the children of Israel. That sounds like King David. That sounds like them getting scattered. Like once you start going back, I'm like, wait a minute, y'all are pulling everything from here. You know what they do? They mock us, and then they tell us our history without us knowing it's our
And we're
history.
thinking it's funny or not the truth. Like the movie, I don't know if y'all seen it, but it's called Year One. It's literally a comedy, but literally it speaks about the children of Israel in there. And I was
I ain't never
like,
noticed it.
I didn't either. And then I watched it the other day and I was like, well, let me rewind this. And I was like, wow, they like mocked us through the whole movie.
It's called Year One.
Year One.
Yeah.
Star Wars,
Jack Black and the young guy.
Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, we're the tribe of Judah.
I thought about
Yeah.
that one day.
Come on,
I
people.
thought about that one day. And I was like, maybe I'm reading too... What?
And then like they're talking about the Clone Wars with all those computer animated stuff that's doing all the fighting. What do you think every country's doing